when you talk about the deeper issues we face, it's a process. I started off, when I first started this, people that I really admire were just like, populism, what are you talking about? It's like, and don't say nationalism, because that's, nationalism doesn't go to a good place. I said, no, we're populist nationalists. So I've had long odds before. This one's long odds. Now we've got the Sputnik moment that, can you let the Chinese Communist Party get ahead of you? Can you let these bad actors get ahead of you? And now we're in a horrible national security dilemma. And yes, President Trump, as he always does, and this is the way President Trump rolls, President Trump listens to a lot of voices, and he will think it over, and then he'll make a decision. And clearly, the oligarchs have, because of their ability to get in there, and also I consider the inauguration day like they're on display, like on the deck of the battleship Missouri, and he's MacArthur, and they're the Imperial Japanese staff sending the surrender document, but they're in there. They're inside the wire. America's not an idea. It's not. Right. It's a country with a border and a group of citizens that's the greatest resource we've ever had. And the apartheid state of Silicon Valley thinks we don't need our greatest resource, which are the American citizens. Obama is the most, in the progressive administration of him and Biden, the most reactionary in American history. Number one, he made a Faustian bargain with the sociopathic overlords in Wall Street to bail us out of the 2008 crisis, which still hasn't been resolved. At the same time, the Obama and the established order went to Silicon Valley and made a deal with them. And the deal was the following: we will allow you to become the wealthiest people in the history of the world. We will let you create an apartheid state. We will let you become monopolies. We will get no anti-trade. In fact, that's why you got Google and search, you got Facebook and what they do, you got Twitter and what they do. You've got Amazon destroying small business for the CCP. Every one of these guys is a monopoly. In the Justice Department for 10 or 12 years has just looked the other way. So we'll let you become monopolies. We'll let you become the wealthiest people on earth. But here's the bargain. Here's what you have to do. You have to make the hegemon, the United States, and the post-war international rules-based order, and the ruling class of this country, you have to make us a dominant technological power of which we have the commanding heights can never be questioned. And over the last 72 hours, what we've seen is two things. Number one, in social media, the Chinese Communist Party and the PLA created TikTok, which is far more powerful than all the social media platforms of these guys put together, right? Forget that they use the information and the ownership. I'm just talking about the addictive nature and how evil can be put in there. And we now know that all the really, let's say hundreds of billions of dollars, not tens of billions, that we put into the theory of the case of blunt force computing power that, the Green New Deal's forgotten, climate change is forgotten. You got to build power generators everywhere. You got to give over federal land for data centers everywhere. We got to burn more coal, more oil for these data centers because our method of AI, we understand that if this is not a psyop, which I don't think it totally is, we've had our Sputnik moment, and guess what? The oligarchs that we created, who were all progressive Democrats, absolutely face planted. Now, here's the point. In techno-feudalism, you're just a digital serf. You're valued as a human being, as someone built and made in the image and likeness of God and endowed with the life spirit of the Holy Spirit. They don't consider that. Everything's digital to them. They are, at the end of the day, transhumanist. And what is transhumanist? Transhumanist is somebody who sees Homo sapien here and Homo sapien plus, right? Plus on the other side, what they call the singularity. And that's why they're all rushing, whether it's artificial intelligence, regenerative robotics, quantum computing, advanced chip design, CRISPR, biotech, all of it to come to this point of which the oligarchs are going to lead that revolution. And why are they going to do it? Number one, when you get to know them and see where they're spending the money, it's because they want eternal life. You know why? Because they're complete atheistic 11-year-old boys that are kind of science fiction, Dungeons and Dragons guys. And we've turned the nation over to that. And yes, I'm going to fight it every step of the way. This is taking us back a millennium to feudalism. This is what their business model is based upon that. And the progressive left made a deal with these guys. They're all lefties. Elon had the first awakening because he could kind of, as an engineer, you could kind of see the math. He fully supported our plan of a base plus election to go get the low information voters and the Moms for America who had flipped during the pandemic. He backed that strategy, and the dude wrote a $250 million check over 5 months, unprecedented, to back our play. He's the first, but the rest of them, even Andreessen, they're all super progressive liberals. They're all techno-feudalists. They don't give a flying about the human being, and I don't care if you're black, white, Hispanic, Chinese, they don't care. And they have to be stopped. If we don't stop it, and we don't stop it now, it's going to destroy not just this country, it's going to destroy the world. And you see this artificial intelligence. We have no controls over this. We've allowed these monopolies to exist. And now we know they're getting their ass handed to them, I think, by the Chinese Communist Party. We're in deep shit right now. We're in a crisis. Musk is, since Edison, maybe our greatest applied engineer.
Okay.
He is a genius in that
Agreed.
level. Agreed. And so he looks at the thing as all kind of mathematical equations and from engineering in a big brain. When he puts on something, he can solve it. He is the most prominent of that crowd that's warned against artificial intelligence and artificial general intelligence. It's one of the reasons he and the Altman at OpenAI have had so many big fights. Besides
not big fans of each other. Yep.
They hate each other. I mean, and part of that's personal, but part of it is philosophical. And Brother Musk is probably the farthest down the line because he's the most advanced in chipping. So I think Neuralink is one of the most aggressive about Homo sapien 1.0 or Homo sapien 2.0. Elon is at the tip of this, and Elon is actually on an applied engineering basis, not talk. He is probably the farthest advanced for transhumanism. People have to understand in the life, and I say life, next 10 years of your audience, we're going to be facing a dilemma for yourself and your kids. Do you enhance yourself? Do you enhance yourself either by genetic engineering? Do you enhance yourself by advanced chip design plugged into you? Do you advance yourself by artificial intelligence? Elon's one of the top accelerationists about driving this thing faster accelerating at an increasing rate. You're going to have to make a choice in your own life, not just politically in society, your own life. Do I do this? Am I a Luddite? Will I get left behind? More importantly, will my children get left behind? Do my children have a shot to really play sports in a Division I level? Or do my kids have a ability to go to an Ivy League school unless I get them enhanced? These questions, deep questions, never before handled in mankind's history, are going to happen and going to happen in the next couple of years. But there's also a time and place for this, and this is now. Not tomorrow, not the next day, now.
Steve Bannon has leaked his perspective on Charlie Kirk's death.
They always want unity when they're caught or they're losing.
Presenting it as more than just a personal tragedy.
The investigation, not just of what happened in Utah and who was the shooter, how did it happen, details, second by second, we have to know, we must know. They always want unity when they're caught or they're losing. You designate them a terrorist organization, then all kind of good things happen. You start subpoenaing telephone records, text messages. You go to the telephone companies like they went on us and took all our stuff. Fine, do it. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. See the interconnection. See who's financing them. See who's contacting them. See what politicians are working with them. See what media types are working with them. And then we ought to round up the media types that are working with them as accessories. This is doable. And if you want to avoid a civil war, it needs to be done today. Use the powers of the state. We happen to be in charge. You that lifted President Trump on your shoulders when he had every reason in the world not to do it again, and he came back and said, I'm going to do it. We must do it.
And he's very worried about that, Stephen. He writes as follows. Well, the MAGA right is on the verge of controlling the vast majority of the American media ecosystem. There are exceptions, but much of the corporate press is now too loyal to or too afraid of Trump to act as a true check on power. Yes, what would that be like to have an entire media controlled by the same party that controls the White House and acting as a bunch of sycophants in service of him? I mean, like the obtuse statement, like the cluelessness of this.
It absolutely is because of what they've done for decade after decade after decade. That being said, I'm a hardcore neo-Brandeisian. I'm a huge believer in Lina Khan and what the FCC, the FTC, what these antitrust really fire breathers and Trump's Justice Department trying to break up Google, trying to break up Facebook. I actually am quite concerned. I am concerned with, and Larry Ellison is a great guy. Oracle's done a great job what they're doing, but to know that they're trying to buy Warner Brothers immediately after closing a quite difficult transaction, they're trying to buy Warner Brothers and CNN. Is, I think it has to be questioned. And then on top of it, TikTok. Remember, what we want to have is a system of actual free market capitalism. We don't have that today. The United States has corporatism. Our model, the Chinese communists, the Chinese did not become liberal Democrats, liberal free market Democrats. They became, in the broadest sense, we became more like their model, state capitalism, or what I call corporatism, and the concentration of power. And you see this every day. The one thing I tell people is different than the first administration, right? The second is that we have the greatest concentration of power under Biden in media, on Wall Street, and big pharma, and big medical, and the big tech oligarchs, in the defense industry. Though that power in Washington, trying to have regulatory merger, right, is something that we as MAGA and a populist nationalist movement have to be worried about all the time. And so I love the fact that conservatives are now coming, and we're giving them a little taste of what they've had for years and loved it, and the reason they're suppressing it. But
that sounds like spare me the, it would be so hard if the other party controlled media while they control the White House. Welcome to our world. We've been living like this for 50 years.
Yes, and particularly fight for Obama. But we, as populists, always have to be on guard for the concentration of corporate and state power. That's something we're going to, and that's a fight that's internal to MAGA and the Trump administration. And I think that fight's going to get very big coming next year and up to the midterms.
That makes sense. Let me ask you this. The other piece of this is like the leftist meltdown around the Jimmy Kimmel indefinite suspension. I mean, it hasn't even been fired, is really at 10 out of 10. Like I said at the top, they actually are pretending that this is as serious and as big an event as what happened to Charlie. It's very strange. It's like weird trauma glomming. And,
I think it's a 12 out of 10. I think it's a 12 out of 10. I've never seen anything like it. This morning on Morning Joe and CNN, it's full coverage. Everything else going in the world, not important. They are literally,
so I want to ask you why.
The fact they can be fired.
Would it be this high if we hadn't just lost Charlie? Because they're scared. They know how angry we are. They know how mobilized and motivated we are. And is it a direct reaction to that? Would it be at a 12 if we hadn't just lost Charlie? Clearly at the hands of somebody infected with left-wing ideology. Or is this just because, as you say, now they're worried they could actually lose their jobs?
I think normally it would be a 7 or 8, maybe a 9. I think it's 12. And the reason is they see the self-organizing nature of the commemorations of Charlie's the death and the vigils, but also the determination of these young people to carry on his work. And I think they see the streets of Korea. They are scared to death.
The risk, as Bannon sees it, is not only losing one figure, but normalizing the idea that opposing elites comes with deadly consequences.
Hang on, I'm still banned. War Room, I'm still banned on every platform. We're banned on Facebook. We're banned on YouTube. We're banned. Yes, no, I'm banned on Twitter. We're banned. We're still banned everywhere. And I don't complain about it because that's the way they roll. And I say, okay, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. These people are absolutely,
great. We'll play by your rules.
Total fascist. Yeah, exactly. So let's roll. And I'm all for everybody like Spencer Cox and these people that want to sing Kumbaya and want to sit down and reason together. They're not reasonable people. They're radicals. We cannot reason with them. We've tried that. Charlie Kirk gave his life trying to reason with them. Okay? It can't happen. When a Charlie Kirk can't make it happen, it can't happen. So now it's time to get very focused and play Smash Mouth. And that's what we need to do. And we can do it nonviolently. Like, I'm so proud of people. No riots, no burning of cars, nothing. Just the power of Christian vigil.
If you enjoyed today's video on Anonymous Official, leave a like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Thanks for watching and sticking with us.